please rise? You may be seated. Family and friends, good afternoon, good evening. We are here today to celebrate the marriage of Cassie and Brian. First, Brian and Cassie want to thank family and friends who traveled great distances to witness and share in their special day. Cassie and Brian chose to celebrate their wedding with friends and family by their side and together with you bring in 2018. Their life together as husband and wife will forever be celebrated by a gigantic gathering of strangers in New York City's Times Square who count down to midnight, throw streamers, sip champagne, and enjoy fireworks. You two know how to have a New Year's Eve party, and from now on, no other anniversary can compare. Now, we would not be here today if it weren't for Sarah. Cassie has known Sarah, Brian's sister, since she was 15 years old, and Sarah always wanted to set Cassie up with Brian. But the timing was never right until the summer of 2016. Sarah sent Cassie a message explaining how she wanted to set her up with Brian. To entice her to consider, Sarah sent Cassie details to help her get to know more about Brian, this man she'd never met. Cassie remembers Sarah sharing that Brian owns his own house, he's got a good job, he's a good guy, and he treats women right. But, Sarah added, just as any older sister would, quote, he's a boy, he burps and farts, and sometimes needs a haircut. At the same time, Sarah was also telling Brian about Cassie. Brian remembers Sarah sharing that Cassie had a good job and she comes from a good family. Through Sarah's keen negotiating skills, after a few weeks, Cassie was intrigued. Cassie sent Brian a message on a Saturday, and Brian sent a message back. On that particular Saturday, Brian was going to Gilman Days, and he was 3 hours into knowing Cassie. Now, even though Sarah made the connection, we may not be here today if it weren't for Shauna, Kyle's wife. Shauna's role in this relationship was pivotal. To prevent Brian from looking like a fool, Shauna proofread every text message Brian sent to Cassie that night at Gilman Days. So let's all thank Shauna. Cassie, on the other hand, was reading and responding to these text messages as she rode to the cabin with Steph and her family. Cassie remembers she and Brian texting about football, and she became a bit nervous when she learned Brian's favorite team is the Bears. Cassie is a Vikings fan, but they got through it, and ironically, those two teams played at noon today. Now, to prepare for their first date, Brian started asking Cassie questions. What's your favorite food? Cassie responded, probably my mom's tuna hot dish. Not knowing where to go with that answer, Brian tried again. What's your second favorite food? Cassie responded, probably Mexican food, but I don't like anything too spicy. Brian found his opening. Would you like to join me at La Casita for some mildly spicy Mexican food? The next weekend, Cassie and Brian went on their first date. As they shared this story, Brian provided a summary of the night. I picked Cassie up at her apartment. She started talking. We went to La Casita. She kept talking. We went to a movie. She finally stopped talking, but then her chair started squeaking. After the movie, we went to the Blue Line, had a couple beers, and she started talking again. Brian remembers thinking he loved Cassie the morning after their first date. Cassie and Brian knew Sarah wanted to know about the date, so Cassie offered Brian a synopsis of the night to share with Sarah. Quote, just tell her she talks too much, drinks weird beer, and her chair was squeaking. At that moment, Brian thought, this girl knows herself. The second date was in downpouring rain. Brian recalled, I think I got to talk that date. There was a third date, and their love began to flourish. Now, Brian grew up in Foley, owns a house in Foley that is near family, and is also 2 houses down from Adam, one of his best men. When Brian talked about his parents celebrating their 45th wedding anniversary, Brian warned Cassie, don't expect me to remember years like that. I'll just remember the date, New Year's Eve. Brian and Cassie have both been graciously welcomed into each other's families. Cassie said, it's been fun to see Brian jive with my family. Steph loves him almost as much as I do, and watching him interact with my nieces solidifies that he's the one. They've also been welcomed into each other's friend groups. Brian recalls the first time his friend Kyle met Cassie and Kyle shared, I am Brian's mama bear. You better not hurt my baby bear. I have to admit, I've done a lot of weddings. I've never used the word mama bear or baby bear in a ceremony. Although Kyle tried to intimidate Cassie, the two quickly hit it off, and he realized that Cassie had no intentions of hurting his baby bear. Soon after meeting Brian, Cassie's friend Amy knew that Brian was the one for Cassie. So much so that Amy had her maid of honor speech written days after meeting Brian and watching he and Cassie together. Earlier this year, on February 15th, Brian proposed to Cassie, surprising her at home. After she said yes, Brian drove them to a restaurant for dinner, where he had arranged for their immediate family to meet them and celebrate their engagement, surprising Cassie yet again. Early on in their relationship, Brian and Cassie realized they had found the one and described their relationship as easygoing. We can be serious, but overall it's been easy because we see eye to eye on things. Cassie shared that Brian is very encouraging with the mindset of, we'll figure it out, take one step at a time. Now, Cassie and Brian will figure things out one step at a time together as wife and husband. When planning their ceremony, Brian and Cassie reviewed several readings, and when they selected their favorite two, asked both of their godmothers, Laura and Rita, to share the readings. Laura, Cassie's godmother, will share the first reading, The Keys to Love.
The key to love is understanding, the ability to comprehend not only the spoken word, but those unspoken gestures, the little things that say so much by themselves. The key to love is forgiveness, to accept each other's faults and pardon mistakes, without forgetting, but remembering what you learned from them. The key to love is sharing, facing your good fortunes as well as the bad together, both conquering problems, forever searching for ways to intensify your happiness. The key to love is giving, without thought of return, but with the hope of just a simple smile, and by giving in, but never giving up. The key to love is respect, realizing that you are two separate people with different ideas, that you don't belong to each other, but that you belong with each other and share a mutual bond. The key to love is inside us all. It takes time and patience to unlock all the ingredients. That will take you to its threshold. It is a continual learning process that demands a lot of work, but the rewards are more than worth the effort.
Thank you, Laura. Now Jenna Zabel, a friend and bridesmaid, will sing From the Ground Up.
Grandma and Grandpa painted a picture of 65 years in one little house. More than a memory, more than saying I do. Kiss you good nights and I love yous. Me and you, baby, walk in the footsteps, build our own family, one day at a time. 10 little toes, a painted paper room, a beautiful baby looks just like you, and we'll build this love from the ground up. Now till forever, it's solemnly all of you. Just take my hand, and I'll be the man your dad hoped that I'd be. We'll build this love from the ground up, for worse or for better, and I will be all you need. Beside you I'll stand, through the good and the bad. We'll give all that we have, and we'll build this love from the ground up. This life will go by the blink of an eye, but I wouldn't want to spend it without you by my side. The clouds are gonna roll, the earth's gonna shake, but I'll be a shelter through the wind and the rain, and we'll build this love from the ground up. Now till forever, it's all of me, all of you. Just take my hand, and I'll be the man that hope that I'll be, and we'll build this love from the ground up, for worse or for better, and I will be all you need. Beside you I'll stand, for the good and the bad. We'll give all that we have, and we'll build this love from the ground up. Someday we'll wake up with thousands of pictures, 65 years in this little house. I wouldn't trade for nothing the life that we built. I'll kiss you good night and say I love you still, and we'll build this love from the ground up, for worse or for better, and I will be all you need. Beside you I'll stand, the good and the bad. We'll give all that we have, and we'll build this love from the ground up.
Thank you, Jenna. Now Rita, Brian's godmother, will share the second reading, The Art of Marriage. A good marriage must be created. In marriage, the little things are the big things. It is never being too old to hold hands. It is remembering to say, I love you, at least once a day. It is never going to sleep angry. It is at no time taking the other for granted.
The courtship should not end with the honeymoon. It should continue through all your years together. It is having a mutual sense of values and common objectives. It is standing together facing the world. It is forming a circle of love that includes both of your families. It is doing things for each other, not in the attitude of duty or sacrifice, but in the spirit of joy. It is speaking words of appreciation and demonstrating gratitude in thoughtful ways. It is not looking for perfection in each other. It is cultivating flexibility, patience, understanding, and a sense of humor. It is having the capacity to truly forgive each other. It is giving each other an atmosphere in which each can grow. It is a common search for the good and the beautiful. It is not only marrying the right partner, it is being the right partner.
Thank you, Rita.